Welcome to this special edition of Soulfire TV with tips, tools, and resources for your success as a soulpreneur. Today's episode is our Soulpreneur session, where I'll be interviewing entrepreneurs that have a powerful message about how we can live more purposefully, passionately, and profitably. Today's guest is my dear friend, Lisa Fraley. Now, Lisa is a legal coach and attorney who has helped hundreds of coaches and entrepreneurs get legally covered through her DIY legal templates, services, and online courses. Watch or listen as we dive into how to protect your business legally and energetically, why Lisa relates legal steps to the chakras, wicked cool, and the most important legal documents you need as an online biz owner. Let's dive in. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us today.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here with you, Laura.
All right, so I really want to get started because people might be a little bit confused, or maybe they don't. Hopefully they're not, but about being a legal coach, and I was going through your About page before hopping on here, even though, we've talked before about a little bit about your journey. And you've been through quite a journey from corporate lawyer to health coach and now to a legal coach. So can you talk to us a little bit about that whole trajectory and what a legal coach is?
Right, sure. So like a lot of people, I spent a number of years in the corporate world in like the big law firm, and it was incredible training, and I learned from really smart lawyers. And I also felt like it just wasn't completely feeding my soul. So I actually left the practice of law for quite some time, and I went off the entire opposite direction, Laura, into nonprofit work. I mean, I was still doing kind of legally related stuff, but helping people make large charitable donations. I also became a health coach through IIN. I became a life coach through Coach U. And then when I was working as a health coach, actually, initially, a lot of my health coaching friends were like, Lisa, you are a lawyer. Like, we need a lawyer who understands what we do. And most people have no idea what we do when we talk about an online course or an opt-in or Entreport or whatever. So that's when I worked with my own coach, and actually she helped me to come to the realization that I could pull all of myself together, all the parts of me together, and become an and, hence the ampersand, so I could become a lawyer and a coach. And that's why I blended it together and call myself a legal coach.
I love that. Ooh, well, now I understand the ampersand a little more.
Exactly. I'm all about the and.
I love that. And I'm sure, I know that people in my community for sure are multi-passionate. So
Totally.
It's a great example of that. So
Totally.
I'm really excited to talk a little bit more about, okay, so when I was reading your thing, I was just like, every line I read, I was getting more and more impressed, which I know is like what was supposed to happen when you read an About page. But also, it was like you've had all this traditional success. Like within your corporate job, you were very successful. As a health coach, you were very successful. As a legal coach, you're very successful. Like you should go look on her website, and also go look at it a little bit because I'm redoing it for her. But go look at her website.
Thank goodness for you, Laura. Thank goodness for you.
And her testimonials, like, they're sky high. They're amazing.
Thank you.
So what does success mean to you? I'm especially interested from you because, again, you've had all this traditional success. So I would love to know.
That's a really great question. And I agree with you. When we read people's About pages, like I always tell all my clients, like, shine, like really tell people what you've done, because we as women always kind of downplay what we do, and we're a little shy to share things. But really, we all of these women in your tribe are like amazing people. And it's really wonderful when we can, let each other know some of the things that we've done before in our lives, because it really does inspire people and help them embrace all of who they are too.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, success, I think, and Laura, you teach this too, like each person defines success in their own way. But a lot of what I have really wanted is to really feel a sense of security and safety. So for me, and that's not surprising, right? I am a lawyer. Like I always talk about legal foundation as creating like safety and stability for your business. But for me, there is still a financial component that is important, because I feel like having financial success actually does give you safety and security, which gives you flexibility and freedom. So for me, it's kind of like the financial success in my business translates to me feeling safe and secure. So then I can decide to go to Italy tomorrow for 2 weeks, like I'm doing with my husband, and not really worry that I won't have income or it won't be coming in or whatever. So the freedom for me is really what it's about. But I personally need to get there first through feeling secure, and then I can feel free. Some people go straight to the freedom part, but I have to kind of build the foundation.
Yeah. I love that. So on your journey, you talk a lot about, spirituality and following your intuition and all of that. So how do you think that's played a role? Do you have any examples of things that maybe outside looked a little crazy, but you knew that you had to do it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, combining spirituality with the law in and of itself, a lot of people think is really crazy. To traditional lawyers, they're like, what are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense at all. And, honestly, my whole life, I sort of grew up believing in the rational, believing in the arguments, believing in the evidence, physical evidence to support an argument or a belief or something. And as I found, as I've grown and really done a lot of spiritual work and my own self-growth work, right? My own self-discovery work, I have figured out for me that my intuition has always played a huge role in my life. I just didn't know it was playing a huge role in my life. Mm-hmm. Like when I would have a gut instinct or I'd kind of think, well, that doesn't feel right. I didn't really know what that was until I learned about the world of intuition and the law of attraction and creating spiritual boundaries and clarity. And so I realized that the law isn't any different than that. Like the law creates practical boundaries for your business. But what happens when you do create practical boundaries legally in writing is, first of all, you have to get clear about what your policies are. But not only that, you're creating, I believe, also energetic boundaries and containers to hold your business. Because when you get clear about your boundaries and you get clear about your policies, you have an outline of what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was a natural, divinely inspired revolution and revelation that actually my legal steps align with the chakras, because there are spiritual principles, I think, that come through in each legal step that you take. And that definitely is not what most people would think of when it comes to the law, for sure. And now I'm writing a book about it, so I'm even more excited about it. But so I think that, Laura, even I have to tell you, for 2 years, I didn't even have the courage to own that part. Like I knew it, but I didn't have the courage to say it in those words and to create my Get Legally Enlightened course or Get Legally Covered course or whatever, because I felt really vulnerable sharing that. I felt like people would think I was nuts, or lawyers would think I was nuts, or it just felt really scary. But now it's my truth. It's important to me. I think there's truth in those statements. And a lot of people actually love it because it gives the law so much more meaning and depth and clarity for them.
Yeah. So for someone who's watching right now or listening and they're thinking like, I have this whole soulful spiritual side of me, but I do this really practical work. Like maybe I help people lose weight or, whatever the thing is. Like maybe I help people with their Facebook ads. And they're worried about it. Like, what can they do to sort of feel better about bringing that in?
Well, first of all, they should look to you as an example of someone who's done this very successfully in your marketing, of course, bringing soul into your marketing. And obviously, I bring soul into the law. So there are a few of us out there who have really tried to give ourselves permission. For me, it was a lot about permission, honestly. Like I always wanted to do things right, or I always wanted to do things properly, or I always wanted to do what I was supposed to do, right? Like all the shoulds. You should do it this way. You should do it this way. And I think giving ourselves permission to bring it all in, like let all of yourself be expressed in your business, was really helpful for me. And my coach helped me sort of tell me it was okay to do that. And then I could tell myself it was okay to do that. So if that's helpful, just look for examples of people who are maybe they're mamapreneurs and they brought their motherhood in with their business, or maybe they're, like therapists and they brought their therapy sort of lingo into what they do as the coach. Like find people who are doing things more holistically and give yourself permission to bring your unique characteristics into your business. That's what I would say.
Love it. Okay, now I want to dive in a little bit more to what you were saying about like the containers that you're creating.
Mhm.
So I know from personal experience, so I've worked with Lisa for my website Ignition contract, and like just filling out the prep sheet, I was like, wow, I'm getting so much more clear about exactly what I'm
Exactly.
offering, because it was sort of like,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
now it's super concrete. So I mean, I know how powerful it is, but what's so
Yeah.
powerful about a contract?
Yeah. So I know for a lot of people, contracts can feel really scary, right? Like they
Mhm.
feel like, oh, I'm creating this warm relationship with my client. Now I'm like, here's this cold, scary legal document. Like people are like, they run. But this does not have to be that way, Laura. And you know this from us working together too. Like I actually view client agreements as a gift to your client. And when you frame it from looking at it as a gift and looking as a gift to yourself and a gift to your client to create a better relationship with them, it's actually a whole different experience. So what the client agreement is really, it is like a container for your relationship. It has all of your policies in one place about like what really is in your program. What are your expectations for your client? How do you want them to show up for you on time, without distractions, giving their best effort? Like what do you want from them to help them get the best results for themselves? So it's really a gift to them to help them know how to show up for you and then get the results that you both really hope that they'll achieve. Not only that, you do have to get clear about like, what is my communication policy? Like, can people text me on the weekend? Do I reply after 5 o'clock? Like where are my boundaries? Where are my lines drawn? And payment. What if someone misses a payment? Do they
Mhm.
have a grace period? Do you automatically terminate the program? Do you say, we're just going to pause right now and put your program on hold until I receive payment? Like there are lots of different things. Refund policies too. Am I going to give them a full refund or a partial refund or no refund? Like what is your policy on that? And until we put it in writing, like you said, Laura, a lot of times it's like floating around in our head and we kind of know, but
Mhm.
when it's on the page and you go through each section and figure out what it is, it just creates such authority and clarity, and it really makes you the leader of your business because you're running the show. The reason why that's important is because when our clients show up for us, they're like, hi, I'm here, I'm ready. Like, what do I do? How does this work? Like they actually want us to tell them how it works.
Yeah.
And when you have it all in one document, here's how it works, here's how it works, here's how it works, they just like, oh, great. Now I know how to be successful and do well with this. So it's
Mhm.
really a gift to you both.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it just reminds me of everything with freedom, right? I think I wrote a blog post. It was called "Why Freedom Seekers Make Bad Business Owners" or something, which I don't really agree with.
Ah,
But
Laura,
it's
and you're like the
you have
queen of the blog post. Like I get emails from Laura every single day. She's amazing how much you write. I'm in awe. I'm totally in awe.
oh, thanks.
You're an incredible writer. Mhm.
Thank you. And it was really about setting those boundaries, like you're saying, like boundaries in everything, boundaries, and that container for success, like with your schedule. Like, how can you have freedom in your schedule if, like you said, you're not creating that financial freedom, if you're not checking your bank accounts? Like, it's all
I
those
know.
steps. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's funny you should say that too, because one of the big areas for people is getting that clarity, which is reflected in your legal documents, but also getting, as you know, we talk about this too with Kate Northrup, getting your hands in your money, like
Mhm.
really getting clear about your money story and your comfort with money and your systems for money and recording your money, and that's important legally too, because if you have an LLC, for example, or an S corporation, you have to keep your bank accounts and your expense records and everything totally separate from your personal life. You should do that anyway if you have a business, but legally you actually have to do that. So it's all connected, right? Everything's connected. And the more you get clear in some areas of your life and you create containers and processes and systems to give you that stability and security, then it does actually, I think, again, give you comfort to be able to relax and breathe a sigh of relief that you don't have to worry about it anymore because it's all contained in that legal document. And then you can go to the freedom over here,
Mhm.
not worried.
Yeah. I would love
There's
to know
freedom in not
too.
worrying, right?
Oh, for sure. I
Yeah,
think that's a huge part of it.
exactly. I know.
Clearing out the clutter.
Exactly. I agree. Clutter in your
Uh,
mind.
I would love to know both from if you want to talk about personally
Sure.
or if your clients have seen this, but it's sort of reminding me also about how you're setting up the relationship. Like, how does that affect your personal relationships with people? Like, let's say significant other or a family
Hmm.
member. I
You
mean,
mean,
I don't think you're going to hand them a mother-daughter agreement for them to sign. But have you found
Oh yeah.
that getting clear in the business areas has spilled over at all into your personal life? Or
That's a great question. No one's ever asked me that before. And I have to say, I always hear echoing in my voice that quote of the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Right? So the more you get clear and boundaries and clarity and things in writing and organized in your business, I think it does translate over to everything. Like the more you get clear with creating, and boundaries for some people is such a negative word. It's a scary word. Like it feels like you're keeping someone out or blocking someone from getting in. And I don't think of it that way. I just sort of think of it as like a line in the sand, clarity around what it is that feels good to you and what it is that doesn't feel good to you. What works for you.
mm-hmm.
And the same is true in your relationship, right? Like with your spouse or your mother or your best friend or whoever, your kids, like what do you tolerate? What feels good to you? What's okay, right? And then what's not okay? What's not okay? And the more we know where that line is drawn, the more we stand taller and feel more confident, first of all. Because we know who we are, we know what we believe in, we know what our values are, but we also, I think it enhances the relationship because the minute someone's on the other side of that, like you check in with yourself to say, oh, we need to have a conversation about this because this doesn't feel good to me. It's not easy. It does take flexing the courage muscle, I think, to create some of these, this clarity and boundaries, but as we know as entrepreneurs, every freaking thing we do flexes your courage muscle. Your first blog post, your first website, your first client, your first everything. So this is no different. The legal step and the boundaries in your own personal life is no different.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of a question and then I totally forgot. Oh, that's okay.
It'll come back to you.
Back. So I know what it is. They're talking about courageous conversations.
Mm-hmm.
You're like the queen of courageous conversations. I was talking to Lisa about a sticky situation, and she literally told me 5 different ways that I could go about approaching having this conversation.
Yes. And Laura, I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the most awkward things is when you come to your clients, no matter what kind of work you do, right? We just come with big hearts. We're just big, caring people who want to serve. Otherwise we'd be doing something different. We wouldn't be coaches or entrepreneurs. We would be doing something different. And it's hard to have those conversations. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. We don't like it. We avoid it. We just want everyone to be happy. We just want everyone to be happy, right?
Yeah.
And there are times when it is awkward and uncomfortable and just so frustrating. And what I love about the legal documents is that they do some of the talking for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you already have a written client agreement, for example, that someone has signed or electronically signed or whatever, they've already agreed to your policy. So if they're coming back to you seeking a refund after 4 calls with you and you have a no refund policy, it's so much easier to be like, oh my goodness, I'd love to talk to you about why you're not feeling comfortable at this point in the program. A lot of people get uncomfortable at this point because we're really stretching and growing by the 4th call. But I just want to remind you that in your client agreement, we both started off agreeing that we wouldn't have refunds for this course. And I also wrote in my client agreement, I'm happy to try to help you, accomplish your goals or feel comfortable or whatever it is, right? So you can still show up as a heartfelt, loving, caring coach or person and still stick to your boundary of saying, I'm sorry, I don't offer refunds, but here's what I can do for you.
Mm.
And it just can feel better. You don't have to be the bad guy. They already agreed to it in advance and you're just reminding them of what they agreed to in advance. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different, it feels so different than if you just have to pull something out of your ear and then, it's feel really awkward about it.
Yeah.
Not everything happens that way, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. So courageous conversations, let your legal documents do the talking for you.
Yeah. And even if you are sort of catching up and you've already launched something into the world, because that's what I did. And then that's when I need to have that conversation and it was still super helpful. So it can be done the other way around, even though it's not recommended.
That's right. It's true. And that's often what happens, Laura. Your situation was no different than many people. They actually come to me when they're like, they're like, I should have had my legal documents. I know I didn't. I'm sorry. And I'm in a pickle. I need help. What do I do? So, there are things that we can do. Certainly it's just 8,000 times easier when you have a document to prove it. Some things are really hard to go back and prove if you don't have it in writing, but other things you can try to find solutions that feel good to you.
Yeah. So what are some other things that people should be thinking about? We've talked a lot about client agreements, but I know
Yeah,
that there's
sure.
a whole other slew
Yeah.
of things that people
Yes.
can think about.
Well, since you are the website guru, and thank goodness for Laura, because she is going to help me redo my website, which I've been working on for quite some time. Timing is always divine, how we came together.
Yes.
So, Laura, for people who are working with you on their websites, for example, although we know you do many things and have masterminds and do many things, but in particular for the website, for example, there are 3 documents that people want to have on their website that it would be great for them to know about. The first one is a website disclaimer.
Mm.
And that document is really what talks about you and who you are and what you do. And it's a document that disclaims your liability. That's why it's called a disclaimer. But I also like to put that on the flip side and basically say you're empowering your website visitors to show up and read information on your site, but to understand it's just for information. It's just education. They can't just like take what they read in your blog and like apply it to their life and then come back to you later and say, oh, something went wrong. I followed your advice and this didn't work. And now you're responsible for that. And you're like, no, I'm not responsible for that. That was just information to help you. So the website disclaimer gets clear around things like you're not giving advice, business advice, legal advice, medical advice. And it depends on what you do, of course, but you're not, your affiliates are, you might be an affiliate for someone. Your testimonials are just examples. You limit your liability. That's the first step. And I actually associate that with the root chakra, the base layer of protection to help you feel grounded and secure when your website's legally naked. The second one is your website terms and conditions. So this is a different document than your disclaimer. The disclaimer talks about you and what you do. The website terms and conditions protect the content on your website.
Okay.
So like everything that you wrote on your blog, your services page and your about page and your home page, like all the blog posts, everything you've written on the website, this is what really has language to protect your intellectual property. Mm-hmm. And to say, hey, listen, peeps, so glad you're here looking at my website, but you can't run off with my stuff, like no copying, no taking, no swiping. And I do talk in silly terms. Obviously, we use appropriate legal language in the document. Listen, peeps. But I do like to make it plain English and easy to understand, and we have to make the law kind of fun. So at any rate, but that's the website terms and conditions is what gives you the legal language to fall back on to protect your content on your website and your intellectual property there. And then the last one is the privacy policy. The privacy policy is so key for anyone who has an opt-in on your website where someone gives you their name and email. Mm-hmm. In some states, which they should. That's right. Listen to Laura. Yes, everyone should. But you also, if you have that, you legally have to have a privacy policy in some states. And also for some social media sites, if you do paid advertising, they require you to have a privacy policy. This is a document, that tells that basically people who give you information that you're going to keep their name and email and financial information or whatever contact information they give you safe. Mm-hmm. And the website terms and conditions and the privacy policy, I say, are sister documents, and I associate them with the heart chakra because when you have your website terms and conditions that is protecting your content, you're really protecting the heart and soul of your brand. Yeah. The heart of your brand is on that freaking website. So you need to protect that. Vice versa, when your clients are giving you their personal details, that's really sensitive information that builds trust with them. They need to know that you're keeping that safe and close to your heart. So that's why I line them with the heart chakra. And by the way, Laura can help you with this too, but you want to always have them is in the footer of your website, just the word disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy. And then you link those to a hidden page where you have all your language. Yep. So it's not like on people's face when they come to your website.
Hello, here's my legal stuff.
I know. Well, some people don't know that's where it goes, so I like to tell them.
Yeah, no, perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we can totally fix that or figure that out for you guys as well. Oh, I love it.
We can help you with that.
And so one last quick question, and this will probably not be quick at all, but I'd like to know for myself, and I know that people watching are probably interested too. Oh my gosh, I just thought of another one. Okay, so 2 questions.
Really cool.
So they're both legal ones. So one is like, how do I register my business? Like, what should I register as? This is a huge thing. And I'm going to tell a quick embarrassing story, which is that I have on one of my opt-ins a checklist of things to like take yourself seriously as a business owner. And one of the things on there was to register your business. I was like, what does that say to the universe if you don't register? Meanwhile, when did I register my business? Like a week ago. Like, how embarrassing is that?
That's okay. That's okay, Laura.
Better
No,
late than
no
never.
self-judgment. It's all good. It's all
Yeah. But so if you haven't done it, don't worry. And I know that I was waiting because now you can do it online really easily. So it was divine timing. However,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. So when Laura's talking about registering her business, there are a couple of things you need to know. First of all, every single city and state and county is entirely different, which is really frustrating. And in our fine United States of America, and by the way, this is also true in Canada, every province is different and every city is different too. And obviously, wherever you are in the world, check your own local government. But some cities require you to file some things, some counties require you to file some things. And if you have a business name that's different than your name, you want to file at the state level for what's called a doing business as, or it's also called a trade name, or it's also called an assumed name, or it's also called a fictitious name, depending on what state you live in. So there's a couple different ways to look at it. But what you want to do is basically you're saying this, and I associate this with the solar plexus chakra. This is the third step. By the way, you guys, this is way before you have an LLC or an S Corp. This is just you as a sole proprietor, which means you have a business. You haven't done anything yet. You have a business, you have clients, you're a sole proprietor, you're making income. Now you need to feel really confident and secure and feel really empowered to take the right steps to tell the government that you have a business. Because once you have income, you have to declare it and pay your taxes. And so this means you have to pay your state taxes and your federal taxes. And sometimes you have to pay city taxes as well. So many people can register their business online. Like Laura said, some cities and states, you still have to do the paper version. And I do actually have a tutorial that teaches people how to do it, because what questions to ask, because every state is different. But you want to let them know who you are. You fill out the right paperwork, and then they know that you're officially registered, and you can feel really good and really in alignment that you now have legitimized your business.
Yeah. Oh, so important. And again, like, I do think it is true that it is telling the universe and everybody that you're working with, like, I am a serious business owner. I've registered. So at whatever point you can make that happen. Very
exactly. And or to another thing that's really please everyone know that there's no judgment. No judgment. We all are where we are in our business. Just like when you go to your website designer and you're like, hi, I have this starter website thing, a beautiful website, and people have website shame and whatever. Like, people have legal shame or financial shame, or like, no shame. We don't have time for shame, and we don't have room for shame. All we have is where we are and where we want to go. So be courageous and really show up and just say, hey, here's where I am. Like Laura's saying, I didn't have my business registered till last week. Well, you know what I'd like to say? Congratulations, Laura, that you registered your business.
Thank you.
I don't care if it was last week or last month or last year. Like, I love that you did it. So we want to celebrate that.
Yes, for sure. I love that you say celebrate too. Celebrate all these things.
Yes, totally.
Get your website disclaimer up there. Celebrate.
Totally. Yeah. It's a big step, because you are creating that boundary and you are creating that container, and you are, like you said, it's another step where you're saying to the world, I have an official business and I'm protecting myself. And it does up-level you, I believe, energetically as well. When you take that step, you feel different than you did before. Like, you feel slightly different now that you've registered your business than you did before. And no one ever expects that from the legal part, ever. You do when you do a new website. You're like, yay, I can see how I'm different. Here's my beautiful website. But with the legal step, something does shift and you just feel more professional. And when you act more professionally, people respond to you more professionally too. And that's also important.
Yeah. So I would love to hear any last intuitive thoughts that you have for people that are listening. Any last words of wisdom?
Yeah. Did you have another question, Laura? I feel like you had one more question.
I was going to ask you about trademarks, but I feel like that's such a okay. Well, let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay, for a second. So a lot of people, when you're branding yourself, right, and you've come up with this amazing tagline or an amazing business name or an amazing program name or a logo or something, words, small amounts of words, which the only reason why I'm telling you that is because when you have lots of words, like a book or an article, that's actually copywriting. Okay. But trademarking is done for like phrases or logos, images, graphics, phrases. Art is more like copyright. totally different areas of the law. And we could spend 4 hours talking about each one of them. But just to give you an overview for the trademarking, because Laura does deal with a lot of branding. And what's really important is when you have something that you are really passionate about, that you're going to use for a while, you want to consider trademarking it. And what the heck is trademarking? So it's actually getting rights from the government to use your term for 10 years. And then you actually can renew it and renew it and renew it. So I have, I call it my 3P test, which I'm just going to share with you all as a little bonus here. I actually have a whole product tutorial that walks you through this, but I'm just going to share it for you as a fun bonus. Because it's not even Friday, but I'm just going to make it like today is a Friday gift. So first of all, if you have a name that you're passionate about, are you passionate? This is the first P. Are you passionate about it? Because if you would be heartbroken someone else has run off and used your name that you came up with, that's a sign for you that you have something to trademark. By the way, having said that, if you do notice someone else is using a name similar to yours or exactly like yours, first of all, I always tell everyone, please presume innocence. Because you would be shocked and surprised at how many people think of the exact same or very similar names and don't even know the other one exists. They're not copying you. They don't even know. I've had clients in totally different avenues of work who came up with the exact same unique name that I was like, how is that even possible? I don't know, but they did. So presume innocence first. But anyway, okay, passionate. Number 2, potential. Does it have potential? You get a trademark for up to 10 years. So if you're just going to use it for like 1 or 2 rounds of your program, don't invest in trademarking. It's a long process and it can take 10 to 18 months. It's expensive. It's huge. Don't do that. Do things passionate, potential, and profit. Mm-hmm. It has to be connected to making money. So what I mean by that is you have to show on your website typically, but you have to show how that name is attached to making money. Mm. They don't let you trademark things that they consider to be hobbies or not businesses not yet launched unless you are filing a trademark that shows you're intending to use it in the future. You can do that. But in general, you need to show that it's connected to making money. Those are your 3 Ps, passionate, potential, and profit. If you say yes to all of those, it's considered worthwhile. Doing a trademark search, that's your first step to see if there's anything out there that's the same or similar. And then the next step would be filing a trademark application. I hope that's helpful though.
It's super, super helpful. And I did not know that about the 3rd P, about profit.
Well, there are 2 ways you can file a trademark, Laura. The first is that you show that it's in use already. And that actually, it's cheaper, it's faster, it's just ideal because you're going to have to show that it's in use in 6 months anyway, if you file it the other way, which is to show that it's you have the intention to use it. It's called intend to use.
Okay.
If you say, like, if you're just starting out and you're like, okay, I'm intending to use this in 6 months on my website that Laura's helping me create, but I don't have it done yet, you can file the trademark now, but you still have 6 months. And sometimes you can file extensions. I mean, you can file extensions, but eventually you're going to have to show how you're using it or you're going to lose the ability to go forward in the trademarking process.
Right.
So for most of my clients, I actually encourage them to take the faster and less expensive route, and that's to do actually showing how it's in use. So we get your trademark, get everything up on your site, get all your proof that you're using the mark ready, and then we file the mark then. It's just faster and more expedient and easier to do it that way.
And I think that should be a relief to everybody listening or watching too, because again, like, don't use us as an excuse to not move forward. Like, move forward, make money, and it actually will be easier to trademark.
That's a good point, because a lot of people are afraid to actually start using it because they're like, well, what if I put it out there and then someone else runs off and snags it, right? That's totally understandable. Here's the thing. When it comes to trademarking, it all comes back to proving who used it first. Publicly and privately, who used it first. And by the way, when you do get a trademark, you can't go back and make people who used it before you stop using it. But you can take people who come after you and stop them from trademarking or using it. You do get additional rights when you have a trademark, a federal trademark. You actually have the right to go after people to stop them from using mark and making money in a way that's damaging your business. That you do have the right to do that, which you don't have if you've just been using a mark using a phrase or something for a long time. You
Yeah,
have different rights. Trademark is very confusing and very nuanced, and a lot of people try to do it on their own. And this is actually one area that I have a lot of do-it-yourself documents, but I just highly do not recommend doing do-it-yourself trademarking. Like,
yeah, it sounds complicated.
It's very complicated. I've done it for 4 years as a lawyer, and I work with another trademark attorney who I go to for help from time to time, and they do it 24 hours a day for the past 25 years. And there's still things I don't know. And I've had at least 35 successful trademarks. Like, it's very, very complicated even when you're a lawyer. The reason for that is because when you do it on your own, you often don't realize where you're leaving the gap for someone to get in the back door. So It may go through the process with ease, which is great, but you just left this gigantic gap you didn't know about because you didn't know that you were leaving it, and someone else could come in and actually trademark. Even though you didn't think that they could. So that's why.
Yeah, no, for sure. So
I don't want to scare people, but really, it's worth the investment.
Again, this doesn't have to be a scary process.
No.
To protect you and help you and make you money. Keep your stuff safe.
Exactly.
And Lisa is amazing at that, and also amazing about, like you said, making it more fun. Like, you'll see her website, you're like, what? This isn't a lawyer's website. Way more fun.
It doesn't have to be like, that's the other thing. It doesn't have to be boring. And I mean, it's just like you, Laura, like everything you write, you make things so fun too. Like, you make marketing and branding and websites and just growing your business fun, because this is a lot of work. To be an entrepreneur, it's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and love. And we're already working so hard that this stuff can be fun. It doesn't have to be scary or overwhelming or yucky or cold. It's just you do it just like everything else. Legal steps, you just do one step at a time, just like you teach people how to grow their business one step at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. So please don't go try to download every single document tomorrow. Like, Lisa will be here for you to take, we'll be here in a few months. So don't worry about that.
One step at a time.
So where can they get more information about you?
Sure. So we mentioned a few documents today during this call, like the client agreement, the disclaimer for your website, the terms and conditions, the privacy policy. I also have one more that's important, and that's if you have a group program or online program. When someone goes to buy your online program, or when you buy someone else's and you see that line that says, I agree to these terms and conditions, or I agree to these terms of use, and you check the little box and then you click buy now and put your credit card in. So you want to have that for your people when they're buying your program. And those I call terms of use, because we're telling people how they use your program materials. So that's another do-it-yourself document. So all of these are do-it-yourself documents that actually make it super easy to get your document in place in 1 hour. You just listen to an audio guide, you watch a little 5-minute video of me talking about the chakras and talking about the legal document, and then you just follow along and you personalize it as you listen to the audio. It walks you right through it. My little voice telling you what it says and what it means and why it's important, and you're done in an hour. So Laura is kindly a beautiful Legal Love affiliate for me. So Laura actually will have links for you for the do-it-yourself documents. They're for all 5 of those documents, they're all $397, or there's a payment plan of 2 at $207 to make it easy for people to fit it into their budget and their needs. And then also my website in general, lisafraley.com, you can go on and grab a free gift on the top 3 mistakes that most entrepreneurs make legally and what to do instead. And I have Facebook groups, and there's a lot of ways that you can get free legal tips and information. So just check out the website, get the opt-in gift, join the tribe, and check out the DIY legal documents that Laura can hook you up with. You'll be on your way.
Awesome. One other thing I want to mention, because I know a lot of people in my community are a part of these circles, which is if you're involved in any sort of network marketing company, please check Lisa out. I know she does a ton of tips about that. I know you had an email today going out.
I did. I actually sent out an email today about essential oils. And the reason for that is a lot of people just don't realize, if you're in network marketing companies, one tip to just sort of leave everyone with that applies to everyone is that we don't want to make medical claims about any of our doTERRA essential oils or USANA. Laura and I both are in the USANA family. If you sell supplements, if you sell whatever for your business, we want to make sure we're not telling people that it can medically, like that it can cure their issue or they can heal their gut imbalance or whatever. We just need to talk about the benefit of what the essential oil or the supplement or the vitamins or whatever does, but not in a way that's making a medical claim that it can cure or prevent or really heal any sort of disease. That's just not legal. It's actually giving like medical advice that none of us are qualified to do unless we're a doctor or some sort of licensed medical professional. So you're welcome to check out my blog. That post came up today on my website at lisafraley.com. Just go to free legal tips and you'll see that blog post. That will help people as well. So, but yeah, if you're in direct sales, there's a lot you want to do. You definitely want to have the website disclaimer up on your site as well.
Awesome. Yay.
Yay.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. And if you have any last tips for us or, I don't know, words of wisdom for business owners that are listening or watching.
Sure. Well, first of all, and Laura, I know you tell people this too all the time, like just like celebrate every step that you take to move forward and just keep doing it. How do we build a business? I've been a legal coach and attorney for 4 years, like one tiny step at a time, courageously doing something I've never done before, and then something I've never done before, and then something I've never done before, and being scared and nervous and worried and wondering if it's going to work. And, you know, we just keep doing it. Just get support. Be courageous and just keep taking steps. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just follow your own track, listen to your own intuition, pull up your own soul fire, as Laura said, and just, you know, keep moving forward, because everyone has incredible gifts to offer, and everyone, we have so much that we need to share, and we can help and support so many people. So don't be shy about what you do. Share it with people.
Yay. All right. Thank you so much, Lisa, for all of this great information for us and inspiration.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for everything that you do and for being such an amazing leader and for working on my new website to come. I'm very excited about that.
Everyone will be able to go see that when they go to Lisa.
Exactly.
If it's gorgeous, then no.
And I'm sure you'll be reading a testimonial on Laura's website at some point here too. So all good.
And same reverse.
Aww.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Lisa. And thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Lots of legal love. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this Soulpreneur Session edition of Soulfire TV. We'd love to have you join us in the conversation over in the Soulfire Mastermind, a free private Facebook group full of support for you and your business. The link is on the screen. And I will see you in the next episode.